irritation, unhappiness, stagnation of anyone who is, it demoralizes you. Not because it's a decision. Okay, let's go through that. All right. So there should be more often than not, the cowardly person errs on the side of not wanting to upset other people or program. Y'all ain't here, y'all. And then they say something cute, cowardly prudence, to your question. That's what cowardly prudence sounds like. For peace sake, just to keep peace. You're miserable as hell, but just to keep peace. You've been unhappy for 30 years, but just to keep peace. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Huh? Ministry ain't going nowhere. Church ain't going nowhere. Territory ain't going nowhere. Just to keep peace. That's cowardly prudence. It sounds like wisdom.
It sounds like wisdom for real.
But it's shallow and cowardly prudence.
When is it wisdom?
When you do something. Because here's the thing about a decision. Even if you are wrong about the decision you make, you're gonna know it right after you made it. And then you can at least do something about it. But no decision.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I try to more of us than want to admit it, exemplify that kind of behavior.
Mike, please, Pastor. Oh, it's off? Okay. Pastor Linnell. Go quick so I don't lose time.
I was saying that I think more of us than may want to admit it exemplify that kind of behavior.
Yes.
Because it sounds so much like me, it's uncomfortable to just read it.
Yeah. Amen.
But I say for peace sake.
For peace sake. Yeah. That's why I said more often than not. This is how you know you are becoming a coward or you are behaving cowardly in certain situations. All right? Indecision, more often than not, just not to keep, you don't want to change the people or program. Why? Even though the program is routine, even though the program doesn't yield the good that it was intended to yield, well, we just been doing it that way, so pastor, just leave it that way and leave these people alone and don't bother them and just let it be. So the program doesn't change. That's how relationships grow dull. Follow the same program. That's how people become unfaithful in marriage right after babies are born. Follow the same program. Don't change nothing. Because we lack, I'm going to get to it in a minute, because we lack the courage to boldly face our own chaos and our own challenge and to speak clarity to it, to confront it and cure it, we back off and just say, let it be. And watch this, because I don't want you to miss this point. The Bible says it happens, therefore, in every area of our lives. This is an interesting note. I'm going to throw it in here about programming since I'm on relationship. I was at the taxi stand last week. You know what? And there was a discussion at the taxi stand. And I'd like to go to the taxi stand because, well, so I was at the taxi stand. You know what the discussion at the taxi stand was about? We went from talking about, well, the context was relationships and marriage and who is who and who ain't with who and who is what. You know what the people at the taxi stand told me? The people at the taxi stand said that between 12 o'clock noon and 2 o'clock p.m. are the most unfaithful hours in the entire territory. They said, listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. They said that most cheating takes place during the lunch hours in the BVI than at night. But that wasn't the end. That wasn't the end. That wasn't the end. Especially with married people. Because the lunch break, you don't need to offer any excuse for time. It's your lunch break. When I heard it, first of all, I would have never thought about it like that. But when I heard it, in my spirit, I said, they're telling the truth. There's some meaningful and substantive truth to what I just heard. They said, I'm talking about programming, how you can become so programmed in your relationship. They said, now this is a men talking, so men always have a very chauvinistic bent. So you got to always balance what they say if you have any womanists in you, and I'm kind of a womanist. They say, they say that the same women, wives, that go home, put on their little stuff on their head, put on their big nightgown and all that kind of stuff, and walk around, who are not happy in a relationship, are the same women who will dress to the T in the morning, get ready to go to work, wear all their fancy underwear. You ain't never gonna see it as the husband, because, you know, me and you ain't even on speaking terms. And they will carry on, sometimes for years, a relationship that the man doesn't know anything about. Because, watch this, so let me get back to the point. Because, I can say some more stuff, but I was looking around and I see a couple of children, so that's why I was trying to think while I was talking. Let me go back to this. Because in most relationships, be it our faith relationships, be it our friendship, but especially our spousal relationship, we end up with very routine and mundane relationships, where more often than not, it is the men who refuse, watch I said, more often than not, the men who refuse to change or adapt or become nimble to bring new life back into that relationship. And that notion of avoiding to upset the apricot doesn't come from the man, though. This is the part I want you to get. It comes from the woman. And so, nothing ever changed. The problem is, you done gone from being married for 3 years to not being married for 13 years to being married for 23 years. I want to go somewhere so bad with this, but I'm going to save it. Let me see something. Avoid conflict at all costs. This is what the cowardly person exhibits. Avoid conflicts at all costs. Listen, you ain't going to change nothing without some conflict. Now, as foolishly as I think that President Donald John Trump is behaving, and I do believe he's going to plunge the world into absolute chaos. But let's set that aside for a minute. Let's set aside what's going to happen for a minute. One of the things that he's doing is completely disrupting the status quo in Washington. Now, of course, for all the wrong, crazy reasons and the method. So I'm not making a judgment about that. I'm just using a method of what happens. But we don't have to go that far. Let's come back to New Life. There are things here, there are ministries here in this church and all of our churches in our lives that we know. I don't even know why we're doing this anymore. But rather than upsetting the person who's leading it, we will leave it. And let everybody under them suffer for it and never grow because of it. Because we don't want no conflict. And you know who are most afraid of conflict? Leaders.
That's right.
So I'm preaching now to myself, just so I'm not just on you. I'm telling you. And you know why leaders are the ones who are most afraid of conflict? Because leaders don't like losing nobody. And you know why leaders don't like losing anybody? Because they always take it personal. And you know why we get to that point? Because we really believe it's about us in the first place. Y'all ain't, I am at the wrong church tonight. Can we be honest in here? Are we allowed to be honest?
Yes.
And so what happens is that you allow a spirit of cowardliness to creep in until that spirit takes up residence. And nothing changes. People don't change, the program don't change. Because we're just trying to keep the peace. Yes.
But you know what can change, unfortunately? What can change is the person who is the coward just adapts and just...
What can change is the coward.
You were saying like nothing changes when it's like the cowardice, but I'm thinking that sometimes there can be a change in the person who's the coward by them just becoming adaptable and changing their views, maybe even about their own selves and their own goals and blah, 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 in order to continue in the pattern that they've gotten comfortable with.
That's right. It becomes incumbent upon the one who's in charge. Whether you are the manager on your job, the supervisor, the pastor of your church, the leader in your country, whatever it is, the same principle applies. Now, of course, truth in love. Truth in love is always the goal. Everybody say truth in love. All right? Not truth without love. Truth without love, that's brutality. Love without truth, that's hypocrisy. That's why we've got a lot of that. I love you, but I won't tell you the truth about yourself in love. So I'm being a hypocrite. I won't tell you the truth about yourself, but I'm going to tell Pastor Colin about you. That's the hypocrisy. I heard this about Pastor Barrett, but I'm not going to say this to Pastor Barrett. I'm going to talk to you about Pastor Barrett. And then I don't know that. You don't tell Pastor Barrett I've been talking about you. So you see how this infects and affects the vicious cycle that occurs in church and organizations and everywhere else? And we end up living beneath our capacity, beneath how God has resourced us to live. We end up keep messing around in the weeds, and we can never deal with the big stuff because we all bogged down with this weight of these bad interpersonal relationships that just don't function. Cowards. And there is an escalating cowardliness that characterizes the DNA of the BVI. We are some of the only people I have seen who prayerfully and almost joyously allow ourselves to be led like lambs to the slaughter. We never say a mumbling word. Oh God, I meant to not, what, yeah. Next, cowards fear, no, back, please. Let's stay on this sentence. Cowards fear honesty. Cowards fear coward. The worst thing you can do for a coward is tell them about themselves. They're going to get upset. They're going to start talking to you. They're going to find ways to shut you down, not want to hear you, turn you off. You're going to be sitting. They put a blank face on. They're going to just put up their curtain wall. Shoot. Curtain, and you'll know it. Curtain don't went up. He ain't even hearing. She ain't even. Cowards don't like honesty. Because honesty is designed to make you go do something. So we don't like that. Cowards offer excuses and confuses excuses for reasons. They always want to blame the other person or the other, whoever it is. It's always about the other. It ain't never about them because they never want to face them. And when that becomes a spirit, watch this, because this is the part I want you to get. Because I don't want you to just think about individuals. I want you to think about how this spirit contagion permeates a whole people. It penetrates, it infiltrates, it takes up residence and rule. You remember some years ago, Prophet Khan came here and he mentioned about 3 things, and one of the things that he said that hovered over this country was a spirit of fear. You remember that? Da-da-da. The coward is always hoping. Everybody say it. Everybody say it. The coward is always hoping it just go away. Whatever it is, because they ain't going to deal with it, it's just going to go away. I just hope this, it just go away. So they do nothing. Indecision, do nothing. Hoping it will what? But it never go away. Now what happens to the other people on the other side? You can't see, can you see good up there? Yes. The people on the other side of this end up becoming the person who learns helplessness. So you remain in situations that you know 10 years ago wasn't good for you. But because you don't want to disturb the peace, you don't want to upset the apple cart, you don't want to disturb anything, you want to just, you have learned, you the one, you adapt to the cowardliness and you learn helplessness. That's how abuse takes place, whether it's physical abuse or emotional abuse, whatever it is, that's how it takes place. Amen. So when Gideon says who he says and what he says about himself in verse 1, to see him then and to hear him then and then to hear him later, then we begin to see the transforming character. So my point is that whoever you are and wherever you are and wherever we are on our journey, as we wrestle and as we all struggle, we can move from wherever we are and we can get to the place where God intended us to be. You need not be stuck where you are. Amen. You don't have to remain the way you are. And I want to set some of us free tonight. I want the spirit that is on me. I want some of you to catch it. You do not need to wait for anybody else to affirm or confirm you. If you know what you know, go forth and do what you got to do. The other people will join you later. Oh, wait. You got what it takes. You go do it. You go do it. I'll give you a good example. Most of the times, my wife takes Dylan to school. And I have days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I pick him up from school. And the last couple of weeks, I noticed, sitting home, I'm noticing something outside of what she had mentioned to me. I said, no, this ain't gonna work. I gotta change something here. And Dylan, for us, he's our joy. He's a great kid, smart. But you see, when you pick up on some things, as a parent, You ought not let it sit and just hope it will go away. And I made up in my mind from last week. I've been doing it all this week, and I'm going to do it until I got to go out of town next week. I said, honey, no, from now on, I'm taking Dylan to school, and I'm going to pick him up. Every day. Because I need him now to be around me more in ways than he's around her. Now, the reason why I'm saying that, it changes you and it forces you to change your schedule, change your program. You do what you got to do. But my point is, if you feel that passionate about it, and if it's that important to you, then doggone it, do what you got to do. You got to do what you have to do. And bring to bear the influence that you believe that needs to be brought to bear, in this case, to bring your son, our son, to a place where you believe that he needs to be.
Yes, exactly. Amen.
It's true about every area of life. Now, God knows I'm getting up earlier. God knows I'm ironing all the clothes now for the whole week. But I got to do it because I got to break what I done sense. I don't see it. I sense it. I got to break it now. Got to break it now. And too often, too many of us are looking for the big supernatural stuff to happen. But the problem is, this thing been going on for the last 12 years. Your child ain't 9 no more. He's 19. And when you could have, should have had that parental sense, and you did, but you just didn't do anything about it. You just hope it will go away. It ain't going to go away. It's going to mutate. It's going to become something else. Go to the next statement. I gotta go. I gotta go. I hope I get you where I need to get you. So what's the opposite then? Everybody say courage. Courage. Ready, set, read. Courage is the expression of faith. Stop right there. Courage is what? Courage is courage is not something you taught. Faith without works is what? It just they don't mean nothing. Our faith is not just mental or what we call spiritual assent. No, our faith is about action. And courage is the expression of our faith in action. You got to do it. Read, next sentence. Ready, set, read. Read it again, please, loud. Courage is the capacity to push through the fear. Fear is not going to be absent. Fear is going to always be there. You got to push through it. Darkness is in this room right now. Except for the fact that the lights are switched on and the lights have overwhelmed the darkness. But if you shut off those lights right now, boom. So darkness hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been outshone by light. Fear hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been overwhelmed by courage. Are you following me? So I don't want you to walk home with the pious idea, I have to be fearless and live without fear. Well, that ain't how that, it sounds good linguistically, but that ain't how it works. I want you to understand how it functions in your life. Courage is pushing through the darkness. Why? Because you ain't going to get rid of the darkness. You're not going to get rid of the night. The night is a part of the day. The night is a part of the 24 hours. You got to learn how to push through the night. You got to learn how to live through the night until the morning comes. We had a good guy. He was a former Marine guy. Last name was Marshall. We pastored him when we were in Detroit. My wife told me night before last, she got a message the morning before saying the guy had committed suicide. Right? What happened? Well, he went through this terrible divorce. His wife, walked out on him. His daughters are estranged, and he just took his life. Guy used to be one of my armor bearers. You never know what you will face along your journey. You never know how low darkness will hover over and up and through your life. And I pray tonight that God will give whomever I'm talking in here tonight, or whomever you need to get this message to. I want you to always impregnate people with hope that you can live through the night. You can live through the darkness. You can push through the night. You can hold on until the morning comes.
Amen. Thank you.
It takes courage.
Yes. Amen.
Don't kid yourself. In this world, you need courage. Because this stuff will knock you down. You got to push through. Everybody say push through. So courage is the capacity to push through the fear. And the last one? Sometimes courage don't make no noise. And people look at you and say, how you still going? And all you did was you kept on going. Because I can show you better than I can tell you. You guys just got to keep going. Because the alternative is no real option. You got to keep going. Am I talking to anyone tonight? You got to keep going. You got to keep going. I know sometimes church seems routine, sometimes, and it is, and sometimes fresh air and all of it that we do. I know sometimes it seems routine, but it is God in these routine moments who will step into your situation and step into your life and do the supernatural. You keep doing the routine, keep doing the discipline routine, keep pushing through, keep pressing through. I guarantee you, God has to come through. And you got to believe that. And you know, for some of us, we have been in whatever we've been in so long that we have ceased thinking about God coming through. We've heard it from 1,000 preachers plus one. We just become cynic and skeptical. And I do this because it's the way I grew up. You know, that's how people do. My buddy, he's a professor. Imagine a PhD from University of Miami. Just moved to Atlanta, professor at Emory. WhatsApp me today. He said, Claude, he said, if I was not a Christian already, I won't be one. I'm going to talk to him later to see what's going on. You know, you can get to that place where you doubt yourself, you become that Gideon in his first man, that Gideon in his first, where you feel so low, so small, so whatever, and you don't know if this matters anymore. But the word of the Lord to you tonight is what we read at the beginning. Hold what God gave you in your left hand. The torch. Y'all ain't even. Hold what God gave you in your left hand. Hold on to what God gave you in your right hand. Use it to blow. The sword is in your side and you are on the battle line, but you ain't never going to have to pull that sword. This fight that a couple of you are in, God is going to make the people turn on themselves. And all you were doing is praying and praising. Huh? Father, I pray quickly. I feel a prayer coming. Give me some music. Give me some guitar. Father, we pray tonight that you will lift the veils from our eyes. Remove the scales. Open the eyes of our hearts, God, so that we can see you. Open the eyes of our hearts so bright that we will see you, especially in the dark. For my brother, I pray tonight, whatever he faces, I speak courage to push through. For my sisters tonight who have learned helplessness, I pray courage to confront and to become an instrument of change for the blessedness of their lives. I pray for our children tonight and our grandchildren, oh God. Don't allow them to become who we are at our worst. I pray for daughters tonight, near and far. I pray for sons tonight, near and far. I pray for our young people tonight who have to make decisions. Give them courage, oh God. Courage, oh God. To live and to live in your word. To have life and to have it abundantly. We speak against cowardliness. We speak against mediocrity. We speak against low self-esteem. We speak against, oh God, every crippling thing that seeks to inhibit their progress and their growth. We pray life. We pray light. In Jesus' name.
Too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Yes, Lord. Nobody told me the road would be easy. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. What is this? I'm supposed to read it. Are you been blessed tonight? Is that helpful? All right. Good. Hallelujah. I'm supposed to read, this thing is called Bands of Marriage. I hereby publish the Bands of Marriage between Marianne Pasco and Joshua Billions on the 12th day of February 2017 at the New Life Baptist Church. If anyone knows of any just cause why those two persons should not be joined together in holy matrimony, please declare it now. This is the first time of asking. Is this law? This is the law? That's what you're supposed to do? Really? Wow. Still do that. All right. ready to go. I don't know about you. Any other ministry highlights or announcements? Things are set. Let's stand together. We have good fellowship with each other. Yeah. It's Mary Ann. I thought it was. Come on, find somebody before you go out. Don't go out without at least saying hello to somebody. Yes.
Your old life has faded. Your new day is here. Your new life exists without shame, guilt, or fear. Introducing your new life.